Good now.
Thank you.
Okay, we have everybody muted.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. The time is now 7:06 p.m., 22 February 2021. And I'd like to establish a quorum. Directors,
Louise Rudnick.
Alexandra Kazmierski.
Guillermo Cipher.
Gadi Leche.
Mariano Magro.
and Carl Berkins. We've established a quorum. Proof of posting. Vanessa, show the proof of posting. All right, good. We've now we move on to new business. The purpose of this meeting is to appoint an impartial committee to serve as the inspectors of the election. And in case, well, let me read it for everybody, just so we're clear. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, physical capacity will be limited to management, the members of the impartial election committee, legal counsel, a representative of the online voting company, and any members of the board and candidates who elect to attend in person. All other owners may attend the annual meeting virtually. Committee members may not include any of the following or their spouses: current board members, officers, or candidates for the board. I open the floor up now to any residents that would like to submit their names to be part of the impartial election committee.
Mr. Berkins, this is Alberto Milli, and I sent an email and I was told it was forwarded to the board. I want to submit my name.
But is there a partner in your continental or young?
Okay, excuse me?
Hi, Carl, it's Joanne Brizard. I also submitted an email requesting the same.
You know what? I haven't received any of the emails. Vanessa, did we?
Yes, I got Mr. Million's email.
Okay. How many people submitted via email?
And I forwarded to the office from Joanne, her request.
Ms. Joanne Brizard and Mr. Millian.
Okay.
Okay, so we have two owners that have been verified that have submitted to be part of the impartial committee. And I'm throwing it open to the rest of the residents. And that's the purpose of having this meeting, is to give the residents an opportunity to be a part of the process.
May I make a suggestion, being that we've only got 2 volunteers? Perhaps we should send out an email blast and see if we can recruit some others.
The thing is, Ms. Louise, it needs to be approved at a board meeting.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
gotcha. I understand.
And everybody, let me explain to you. Normally, at our normal board meetings, whoever would show up and we'd all be in a big conference room and there would be someone that says, hey, I'll be, et cetera, et cetera. Well, now because of the pandemic, we're limited to the amount of people that we can have in the space. So if we don't get 5 impartial people that want to be on the election committee, I'm not sure where we go from here.
Can we give it a few minutes to see if some additional parties join the meeting?
Absolutely. Absolutely, we can. That's why I scheduled 2 hours.
Mr. President, my understanding is that the purpose of this meeting is for the board to vote to appoint the committee. And at the purpose of this meeting, the board actually, the instruction for the statute is to actually vote to actually appoint the committee. And then after that has been approved.
No, the board approves and appoints the impartial election committee based on whoever submits their name, a part of the committee.
Okay, so per my understanding and per the statute, and I don't know if you have the attorneys on with you, is that the purpose of this meeting is for the board to actually vote to actually appoint the committee to make it an official act of the board, because technically the association does not have an impartial standing inspection committee. Once the board approves the committee, then members who are actually due residents of the association as of the time of the election are required to submit their name to the board, which can be done at the board or post the board meeting. But what has to be done today is actually for the board to actually approve it, to pass the motion. So you may want to, this is a suggestion, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, but no thanks. Okay.
Carl?
Yes.
Okay, somebody, I didn't see who it was, suggested that we wait a little bit. Why don't we proceed with the other subject that we were going to bring up and give it a few minutes to see if somebody else joins us and volunteers?
Excuse me, Luis, it's Nadia Casales in 1816. I would love to volunteer. I have no problem volunteering
3.
as well.
And Manuel
Good.
Poligoda
Makes
also,
3.
Manuel Poligoda also volunteered
Who?
himself in the chat.
That is correct. I'm volunteering as well.
Well,
I'm not presenting myself.
well,
Okay.
we now have 4.
Who said that?
We have Joanne, we've got Al, we've got Will, and we have Nadia. We need one more.
I thought I saw something from Cecilia. I'm not sure. It popped up on my screen. Forgive me if I'm wrong.
I
can volunteer. I don't have no problem.
who? Raul?
Mario. No, I think it's Mario.
Mario?
Yes.
Okay, that makes 5. We have it. Carl, we have 5.
Okay, we just going to see if anybody else.
If you're not running for the board and you're not, what were the rules just to make it so we have enough to do this? Do I qualify? I'm not running again.
Mr. Ruddick, I think as a
No.
board member, you can't serve on
No.
that committee.
No,
I'm
it's-
not running. I won't be. Oh, okay.
no,
Gotcha.
no, you can't.
Right.
No. As a current board member, no.
Right. Through Wednesday. I gotcha. Okay.
What time do you guys need the volunteers there for the counting of the ballot?
Approximately at 5 p.m. because the attorneys will arrive at the time and they will have to sit down with you and kind of go over the process together.
Okay.
A long meeting. Yeah.
It's not possible to do it remotely. We have to be in person.
Correct.
Yes.
And that's 5 p.m. on Wednesday, correct?
Yes, ma'am. You can go to the management office and then we go from there.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
I'll throw it out here to the residents once again. If anyone would like to be part of the impartial election committee, if you'd like to submit your name, now's the time to do it. Louise, who do we have right now for the volunteers for the impartial election committee?
You're muted, Luis. Luis, you're muted.
I think Margarita was checking her schedule.
My apologies. We have Mario, Nadia, Manuel, Al, Milian, and Joanne.
Who's Mario? Sorry, Luis.
I'm
That's
looking
me,
Mario. Yeah,
I'm sorry? Mario?
Mario, right here.
Mario,
Mario.
can you say your last name so we get it down?
The last name is Cuadros. Cuads David ROS.
Cardos.
Okay, hi
Cardos.
Mario, okay.
Okay, we have Louise, do we have 5?
2, 5,
Okay. For all
2,
of you that
3, 4. Yeah, that's what we needed.
Respectfully, may I make a suggestion? This is Al Millian speaking. Why don't we have also an alternate in case somebody has a last minute?
Al, could you repeat that?
He mentioned about having an alternate in case one of us couldn't show. I think that's a great idea because I actually have to check my schedule for the exact time.
And also emergencies happen at the last minute, heaven forbid, but why don't we see if we can get an alternate?
Is that possible?
Yeah, there's no volunteer so far, but
If there's a
Actually,
vol-
yes, Raul volunteered to be an alternate.
Right, I just got word from from Raul as well, Nadia, that he's willing to be an alternate.
Just for the record, could you state Raul's last name, please?
Cohen, Raul Cohen.
Yes, Raul Cohen, Cohen.
Yeah, right, COHEN. Apartment
so Raul,
517.
that you're volunteering for being part of the committee, please.
Yes, it's on Wednesday, 5 o'clock p.m., right?
Yes,
Yes.
as an alternate.
Raul.
Thank you, Raul.
So I will be
Thank you.
at 4:59. 1 minute behind.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, then we have 5 and an alternate.
Okay. All right.
Regina, are you on?
Okay. I don't see Regina on.
No, neither do I.
Okay. So Louise, if you pass those names on to Vanessa, make sure that you meet the criteria of not being
The requirements.
right, meet all the requirements, then we can move on. There's one other agenda item that was not on the agenda.
Mr. Perkins, I apologize for interrupting you, but don't you actually need to take a vote and just say they are hereby appointed?
Not till after they're verified.
Condition.
Understood.
Thank you.
Why don't you pass on it with the condition that you verify that they're qualified? Because if not, we're gonna get to the election and we're gonna have to suspend if we don't have enough members there of the impartial. Mr. Perkins, you're the chair. You need to make a ruling.
We can make a motion to approve the 6 impartial members that agreed to officiate the election based on verification. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the 6 volunteers as election supervisors pending their approval.
I
Okay.
second the motion.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, the motion passed. Okay, being that this is a open meeting and our election is so close, Florida statutes says that on an emergency basis that we can add an additional item onto Florida statute 718 says that we can add an emergency motion onto this meeting. And as such, after consulting with our attorneys and due to the contentious nature of this election that's coming up, I would like to throw out there to the board that we adopt a motion to have a impartial observer certified by the state to verify our election.
I would like to, may I make the motion?
Please make a motion.
I would like to engage state certified Tom Reminatera and his team to assist our impartial committee and to serve as election monitors on our Wednesday's annual meeting and election. May I?
So I have a question before we do an motion. So this person is going to be in lieu of Nicole Kurtz, which usually is the person that attends our election process.
Yes.
So she's
Nicole is
cannot
pregnant.
do it. She cannot do it because of health issues or because she's pregnant.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
in lieu of her, we are discussing engaging this other individual.
Same
Yes.
cost.
And yes, and the reason is because normally we have two attorneys and one takes care of the legal and then one advises us as to the totality of how the election should go, from moving the ballot box up, counting the votes, et cetera, et cetera. Well, and talking to the attorneys this morning, we will only have one attorney, and that in the spirit of transparency and impartiality, that we would engage a third party to come in and observe the entire process, and they're certified by the state. So in the event there's any contention, then they can verify the results that they saw from the entire process from start to finish.
Question, Mr. President. If I understood you correctly, I heard you said this person would actually be an impartial person. So who actually, if it's, from what I understood, I think I heard Louise actually mention the name of the person. Is that correct? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So if the person is actually impartial, how is it that the other parties were involved in the selection of this person? Shouldn't an impartial person be someone that's not prior known by the board?
This is a state certified team which monitors elections of this sort, of condominiums and HOAs.
Yes, we didn't, nobody of us know this
We
person.
don't know them.
We don't know them.
Nothing.
I couldn't pick them out of a lineup.
You come from the attorneys.
However, we have references from other associations where they've set in on these types of elections, and they're very reputable. And
because the reason why I'm asking for clarification, I think I heard Luis, that you mentioned that you knew that the name of the impartial party.
You're breaking up. Can't hear you.
I heard, Luis, that you mentioned the name of the impartial party that you are actually suggesting. So an impartial party generally is someone that's selected by both sides. Yes.
Let me say it again.
Yes.
It's not an impartial, it is a state certified team
Yes.
led by this gentleman that I mentioned the name, recommended by the attorneys as a team, which certifies elections after they monitor them. The word impartial is not particularly involved. Where impartial is in our people that will make an impartial committee. But this is a state certified election monitoring team that will certify that everything has been just so.
Is he a
We don't know them.
and is he a member of the bar?
I have no idea. The attorneys have just recommended them as being state certified monitors that they have used with many other condos when there was an election. That's the only thing I know. I didn't.
With all due respect, the reason why I'm asking this question is at this point, it's pretty apparent that the law firm that we have may find themselves in a situation where impartiality becomes it's actually challenging, or there may be a point of a conflict of interest. And
This is a problem for whom?
May I finish, please? And as a matter of fact, because of that, candidates may have reason to question what they are recommending in terms of another party. And,
What's the reason?
and for that matter, I'm asking if this person is a member of the bar. And when you say state certified, at this point, I don't know if they're state certified by the Department of Business and Condominiums, particularly for a process of elections inspection. So I'm asking for more information. If you put yourself on the other side, I think that these questions are only reasonable questions for one to ask.
Okay. They're supposed to be on one side.
Stop right now. The reason that we are engaging a third party to come in is because this election is going to be so contentious that reasonably for the association, we will have our attorneys, we will go through the process, and we will bring in a third party, okay, that has been certified by the state, okay, in accordance with the condo association, so that whatever the results of the election is, then the association has done our due diligence and made every reasonable accommodation so that the results of the election will be fair, and that's it.
We don't know them.
Well, I'm skeptical, and I would understand that other candidates are skeptical. That the expectation would be that if the firm is going to refer a third party for added transparency for the candidates, that perhaps a best practice would have been for the law firm to say, well, we are recommending that you contact the Department of Business and Professional Regulation Mediation.
They are accredited by the department.
If I may interrupt, Carl and Paul.
Yes.
I don't mean to interrupt you guys, but I don't even know if this is possible because I don't know much about the laws with HOA. But if we're worried about one side having more in what I understand what both of you are saying, but would it be possible to have maybe like a live camera feed, a lot like what happened with our last election in the United States, where people can watch and see those that are voting, they're showing it on the cameras, we're watching everything, and that way everyone feels comfortable and there's no reason to contest anything? Is that possible?
It is absolutely possible, and it will be live streamed. We will have the O&R rep. We will have the attorneys there. We have the cameras that'll be set up, and you can view it remotely. We're just only limited to the amount of people physically that we can have in
the room.
Yes.
Okay. I honestly, Paul, I understand, but I feel that the people that we've chosen, the people that everyone has brought together, I feel that if people are really worried about that, and then they watch and they look at the votes. I know my handwriting, I know what I'm looking for, and I would hope everyone else paying attention that cares that much about the voting process are paying attention as well.
With all due respect, may I
Yes, we
speak?
call for a vote.
No,
Yes,
may I
call
speak,
for a vote.
please?
Yes,
With all due
let's call
respect,
for a
may I
vote.
speak?
You can
May I
Call
vote.
for a
speak?
vote.
May I
I'm
speak?
Leave the meeting
May I
in 2
speak?
seconds.
You may be president, but I have a right to speak.
I'm calling a vote.
Want to,
I'm calling for
I
a
want to
vote.
speak. There's several problems here that are legal
Yes,
issues, and I
I'm
want
calling
to
for a
speak.
vote.
How,
I
why
am
aren't you
speaking
allowing-
right
why
now.
aren't you allowing-
Number one, this was not made a part of the agenda.
That's
There is
why,
no pending
that's why
emergency.
we
Mr.
stated
Mr. Perkins, I
ahead
will
of
listen
time.
to you with all due
Look,
respect.
in
like I have.
accordance with
No,
section
listen, in accordance,
718,
no. No, this was
112
never
dash
made a
2
part of this
dash
agenda.
C
There
dash
was never
1
a part of the
Florida
agenda.
statutes
There
provide in
was never
part
a
that
part of the
an
agenda.
item
Listen,
not
I've listened to
included in the
you.
notice
Why
may
don't you
be
grant me
taken
the
up on
same
an
respect
emergency
that I
basis
did?
by
I
a
was
vote
silent when
by
you
at least
spoke.
a majority plus one of the board members.
No,
So I'm calling
and you
for a vote.
cannot
Please
vote.
mute
You're a
him.
candidate on
Mute
top of
him.
everything else. You are a candidate. You cannot vote on this decision. Number one, procedurally, you never put this on the agenda. You have not properly noticed the membership about this, number one. Number two, you cannot vote because you are a candidate in this election. Number three, Mr. Warren has a point. This is not an impartial mediator or observer. This is somebody
Please
you have
mute
selected
him.
as a
Mute him.
member
Mute,
of the
mute,
current
please.
board.
Mute Mr. Million, and I
Why are
will
you
talk.
meeting Mr. Millian?
Well, wait
I
a
am
minute.
not gonna
Why
stop
are you
talking.
muting
Why are
him
you
if
muting
he's,
Mr.
Because
You are
explaining
muting us
something that
because
we
all
you
didn't
are
know?
everyone
what you're
continues to
doing
do is
is
talk,
Gentlemen.
talk,
force this
talk.
down our
I'm
throats.
telling you
Stop.
exactly what the
Why don't you allow me to speak and I'll be
statute
quiet?
718 in
Allow
front of
me to
me,
speak and
which
I'll be
says
quiet.
this
Will
is
you
what.
please allow, will
me
you
to
please
speak and
allow
I'll be
Justin
quiet.
at this point, please? Please allow
Allow me to
point,
speak.
please.
Let the
Gentlemen,
record be clear. Number one, this
gentlemen,
was not
are
announced
you
as an agenda
questioning a
item.
state certified?
Luis, would you be kinder? I know, but let me speak.
He hasn't spoken.
Number one, this was not placed on the agenda. Number two, Mr. Berkins cannot vote on this issue because he is a member of the candidates that are running for this office. Number three, how can it be an impartial observer when candidates and the board, the current board, is choosing them? You're choosing somebody who has an interest because they are recommended by that law firm. That's a problem. And number four, this was not noticed in any way to the membership. There is no pending emergencies. I have been here for 20 years. I've served on 3 boards. There's never been any maneuver such as this ever imposed. And number 5, you haven't announced how much is this going to cost the membership. Those
Al,
are my points.
listen for a
Answer those
minute.
questions.
Al, listen for a minute. This gentleman, this team is simply replacing Nicole. She cannot attend. She is very pregnant. That's number one. Number two, I previously stated the cost is the same as if Nicole was able to come. That's all there is to it. We're making a big deal over nothing.
Excuse
No,
me.
because that firm has dozens of
excuse me.
attorneys that are able to come and participate.
Correct.
Currently
Different
not,
attorneys.
because they are
And
not
in
coming,
many
Mr.
years,
Milian.
we have actually had one attorney be present. You're breaking with precedent and you're breaking the law because you did not announce that this was
excuse
going to
me.
happen today. And if you knew Ms. Kurtz was not going to be available, you would have known this a long time ago because she's been out of the firm for a while. She's announced that.
Okay, excuse me. Let me read everybody. This is from Florida statute 718-112, paragraph 2C.1. Florida statutes provide in part that an item not included on the notice may be taken up on an emergency basis by a vote of at least a majority plus one of board members. Such emergency action must be noticed and ratified at the next regular board meeting. As such, to the extent at least a majority plus one of the total number of directors are in agreement with engaging Tom Remeteria's team to serve as election monitor for Wednesday's election, the board may wish to consider approving the engagement on an emergency basis at tonight's meeting. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah, but
Okay,
you
but
didn't
Carl,
notice
quick
it. You
question.
did not notice it. You
Well,
just said it has to be noticed.
Just a quick question. Carl, you're saying that you're noticing because it was an emergency, but apparently she's been pregnant. People don't
Right.
just get pregnant overnight. So you
Correct.
guys knew she was pregnant and you're calling this an emergency. An emergency is when I slip and fall and break my
No,
leg.
you know what?
Not
Look,
an-
we didn't know
an
Nicole
emergency
was
is not
not
getting
going to be
pregnant.
here
Is-
until today, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
That is
So
the
you guys
truth.
didn't know she was pregnant?
The emergency
Being
is
pregnant is not something that prevents you from coming to election.
Right.
She
Okay,
told
so
today
her
that-
being pregnant, which
can you
takes
shut
9
up a little
months.
bit so everybody else
No,
can
I don't
talk?
need to shut
Mariano,
up. You
you
need to watch
mentioned
your
it, that's why
fucking
you
mouth.
couldn't
Don't
say
ever speak to me like that.
Everybody
tell her
talks
to
here
shut
at
up.
the same time.
Mariano,
Can you please?
you need to
can
watch your
please
mouth.
Respect.
You and I have come to each other twice
Can
now.
you please respect?
You need to watch your mouth. Don't ever speak to me like that ever again, especially if I'm a woman. Speak to your wife like that, but not me.
Can I get a motion?
Mariano,
Okay.
Mariano,
So you're no,
Mariano,
stop, Paul.
all due
Stop,
respect,
stop,
please,
stop.
sir.
No, please.
You mentioned you
Please,
were the one
please,
that
I'm trying to say something. Please.
I
Go
know, but
ahead. Let's let him treat us
apologize
the
to
way
her
he
for
treats his
asking her
wife.
to shut up, for telling her to
Shut
shut
up.
up. That's very
Okay.
inappropriate.
You're lucky I'm on my way
I
on
am
a
sorry.
flight.
I'm lacking.
Yeah,
of-
watch your mouth. No, Latin my ass. Your mouth.
Okay, all right,
Are you
everybody.
done?
Calm down.
Are you done?
One person at
Okay.
a time.
Let me say this. I think you're being completely difficult and
I think you're difficult.
it's going and going. It's completely unstoppable. 5 of the 6
You're
people,
completely
out of the 6
unstable.
people that out of the 6 people that were approved to be considered 10 minutes ago were absolutely questionable that they're going to be impartial. Starting with Mr. Milian, that makes a costume of insulting us all the time. And just last Wednesday was insulting Carl, which is one of the candidates, not as a board member, not as a president, as a Navy veteran.
Mariano, excuse me.
So-
What does this have to do with being impartial?
Yeah.
Impartial is that
Because we believe
what
that.
does it have to do with it? Because each owner
Mariano is
Let
the
me
same
finish.
person I
Can you
voted for.
please
who
let me
swore
finish? Can
he
you
was
please
gonna
let
do
me
so
finish?
great for
Can you
the
please
the
let me
association.
finish?
So
Can
He's
you
a
please
rubber
let me
stamp
finish?
and a vagina.
Can you
You're
please
asking
let
for
me finish?
assault
Can you please let me finish? Can
Mariano,
you please let me
Yeah,
finish?
but
Can you
may I
please let me
speak? May I
finish?
speak for a
Can you
minute?
please
There's
let me
nothing to be
finish?
finished,
Can
Mariano.
you please let me
Let
finish?
me,
You're
Can
asking
you
for
may I
please
speak,
let me
Paul?
finish? Can
residents.
you please
Paul, may
let
I
me
speak?
finish?
You're asking
Can
for
you please let me finish?
residents
Paul?
of the
Can you
association.
please let me finish?
You're
Paul,
asking for
Can you please let me
Paul,
finish?
the
Can
association.
you please let me
You
finish?
just insulted Judge
Can you
Mariano.
please? I
Mariano.
didn't insult anybody. I just asked.
Mariano.
I just asked for my. I
And
just asked.
Your
for my-
comments are most inappropriate. Residents are
Alex,
entitled to-
Nothing was inappropriate.
Alex,
Nothing is
everybody.
inappropriate other than all the calls that you bring to the association.
No, that's not true, Mariano. You just told Nadia to shut up, and that's what started
Okay,
it.
I'm sorry.
But let
That
me
was
just
rude,
say,
and I want to apologize. That was rude.
okay,
I didn't
okay,
mean
but here's
to
another
say it
thing.
that
I
way. I
want.
just wanted to make a point. And
I
the
know,
point
but that's
is,
not how you make
because
a
we are
point.
because we are believing in the reasonability of Joan, Manuel, Mr. Milian, Nadia, and we believe that all together can come to a solution, can come to a civilized election.
Well, don't ambush
We
us.
say yes
Don't
to that,
ambush us.
and that we
The
are just to
candidates-
we're just
candidates,
we are just
Mariano,
wanted to replace
Mariano, a
Mrs.
few years
Nicole.
ago, you
Oh,
were
come
running.
on.
You just
Who's
ambushed
democracy?
us. You just ambushed the
someone
candidates,
can-
and you're asking us to be
You're
rational
talking
with
about
you.
ambush.
You
talking about
ambush
ambush.
because-
You ambush every single
because
board member in the DRN
president-
from the
The
beginning.
president,
with
sir.
your-
The president,
Okay, guys,
Okay,
and
I think, Carl, it's
Okay, please,
that
everybody,
reasonable point
everybody.
for you not to vote on this.
Can you bring it down?
right? So
Yes,
the
please.
attorney sent me a letter on Friday,
Please.
Paul, and which you are aware of. Actually, you wrote the letter.
Paul, that has
Who
nothing to
wrote
do
the
with this
letter?
meeting
Nobody
that we're
cares
having
about
right
it.
now.
And that letter states that the box, that ballot box was unsecure for a specific period within your office. I
Yes.
know you're telling us that the board has decided to appoint someone that's impartial, that the other candidates are just hearing about this. We haven't had any time to do any due diligence or to question the credibility or the credentials of these parties. This sounds more like you're actually hiring an alliance. Think about the appearance, even if it's not so, right? So, and then who is going to—
Can I get a vote? You know what? You're entitled to your opinion, Mr. Warren. Thank you very much. Can I get a vote on the motion?
Carl. Oh.
Carl,
Yes.
can I speak for a minute?
Yes.
From all the shouting and screaming, honest to God, I'm a little bit lost. However, because of the suspicions that something is wrong, why are you insisting to have it? And what's wrong about not having it? Why do we have to have it? Because we don't trust each other? Or we are not reasonable with each other? Why the fuck? Maybe if the spirit is such that we don't need any inspection, do not need any attorney, so be it. I don't think that we should fight it. I think that if we are going to conduct a decent election, hopefully no cheating, not lying, why do we have to have an attorney in the room? If we have 5 guys sitting out there looking at all the ballots, and they will sign it off, for me, it's okay.
Mr. Gotti, may I ask you a question, sir?
Sure.
Okay, you're a businessman. You're a person of many years of corporate experience. Have you ever had the opportunities to actually engage someone that's considered a third party that's independent, sir?
Well, in this particular case, I've heard about this only an hour or two ago. And from my point of view, yes, I have hired people based on the recommendation. Yes, I hired people based on our attorney, my attorney that recommended other people, but the ambience all around here is such a screaming and shouting and suspicions, and so it's okay if you feel that something is. Let me finish. You asked me a question. I'll give you an answer. Fair answer. If you feel that something is wrong by appointing people that we do not know, none of the board people know about these guys. So if you have a third party who's going to sit there, you're going to watch him too. If you feel that something is inappropriate, you can raise it up at that time. However, from my point of view, if you guys feel that it's inappropriate, I have no problem not to appoint anyone. However, I hope that this election will not be a chaos. Not because we are intend to or anyone intend to, because of the nature of what's going on.
Well,
so from my point of view, my question to the board, do we really need it?
Director Lissem, sir, with all due respect, sir, you actually didn't, you vacillated and didn't answer my question, because I would find it, as a business person, as someone who's actually been through litigations or anything of legal value, I would question it. I highly question the fact that you would actually allow the other party to actually engage a third party on which you were ambushed and you had no time within which to do the due diligence, sir. I put it to you, sir, that you're being disingenuous, sir, because I know you are many years of experience, sir, and you know much better than that, sir. You know that.
But Paul, Mr. Lasham, let me answer.
There is no ambush.
Listen. Let me articulate.
There is no ambush.
No, wait for that.
There is no intent. There is no ambush. There is no intent.
Mr. Lasham, let me articulate something. Mr. Lasham, let me answer the question legally. You're right. There are occasions when there's a third party involved as a mediator, for example, but it's upon agreement by both adverse parties. Number one. Number two, it's usually appointed by a judge. Number three, Mr. Lasham makes a good point. what is the necessity of doing this if we don't question the integrity of all the parties participating? Why are we incurring an extra cost? And why is a member of the board who's running as a candidate involved? I think it's a good point. I don't think it's an invalid point. But mediators are selected by agreement of the parties, not unilaterally. That's what the board has failed to answer. And I think Mr. Lasham is not off point.
Well,
Excuse me, Al. Let
Al.
me just say something, if I may. Paul is questioning the integrity of the election and of the board. He's questioning that we're not securing the ballots properly and all kinds of other things. So when the attorney said she couldn't come and offered a solution, we took it. That was all there was to it. There's nothing nefarious, I promise.
But Louise, I don't understand how a firm with probably 50 attorneys on staff says that because nobody is indispensable. I'm not indispensable. Nobody's indispensable. They have an innumerable number of lawyers that are on the staff. This item was not announced on the agenda. There's no certifiable emergency occurring right now. This is a party chosen unilaterally. There's no existential necessity to have a third party come in. There's no emergency defined by the word emergency. That's the problem.
Here's the emergency is that we're having an election in 2 days, and throughout this election process for the last 6 to 9 months, there are certain factions that make this seem like this is the Hunger Games. You know, it's us against them and them. Hey, all I want to do is have a fair election, and whoever gets elected, fine, I'll support them.
Okay. Well,
However,
Paul, let Mr. Berkins speak,
yes,
please.
Yes,
Let Mr. Berkins
finish? Can I finish, please? Please, Mr. Milian, I understand that you're a judge. I understand that you want to be on the impartial committee. I don't think you can be impartial because of the vitriol that you've been spitting out for the last 6 months. However,
vitriol?
I just want to have an election where the results stand at the end and we move on as a community. And if the board feels that we don't need a impartial third party, let them vote on it, and then we will take it from there. And then Wednesday we'll have the election. So
all right, I respect
I
your
call
opinion.
for a vote?
I respect your opinion, but you're a member, you're a candidate. You can't vote on this issue. We don't even have a manager. We don't have somebody supervising the elections from a management perspective that's impartial. That's a problem. And second of all, you may question my judgment, but never, ever question my integrity.
I will contest. I will question your integrity.
I question your integrity and your judgment.
Any day
and I
there,
will return
my
the favor
friend.
to you. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you know, that's not for you to what you're doing well. You didn't announce it. You're not impartial because you're a candidate. You have a stake in this election, and you're throwing somebody at the 11th hour to come in to supervise the elections. That's not a bona fide emergency.
Mr.
Carl,
President,
I am with all the candidates. I believe that some of the points that Miriam are bringing are valid in terms of that. I don't think it would be ethical for you to vote on this. I know you are presenting the issue. You are presenting this opportunity to get this person on board, and it's been seen as you are personally bringing this. It's not. It's a recommendation from attorneys. But I think it's a good idea for you not to be involved in voting. I believe that's a fair point.
Mariano, Miss and Carl, may I ask a simple question? Were the candidates advised of this proposal from the law firms?
Okay. You know what? Let's table this issue.
So it wasn't impartial. That wasn't impartial. If it was impartial, the candidate,
It's
the
not.
attorneys
It's
will
not.
actually reach out to the candidates and say, since you have
It's
some
not.
concerns, sir, the association is looking at some alternative. Thank you for answering the question.
Mike.
Carl, I'd like to make your, the motion to table this.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Yes,
Aye.
Aye.
yes,
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second?
I'll
yes,
second.
All
Regina.
in favor? All right.
Aye.
Okay, the meeting is concluded at 7:56 p.m.
Good luck.
All